listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back. A Royal Rumble to unpack and a all-time segment for Monday Night Raw. But we are back in the States here on the Scoop Slam Podcast. And before we get too far into anything, let me go ahead and introduce the historian, Mr. Slam himself. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, fully on the road to WrestleMania and ready to scoop it, slam it, and talk about a little wrestling. We had a lot of it this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's Royal Rumble is always weird because, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, two and a half hours for a WWE pay per view is about all you're gonna get, and then the Rumble. I mean, you got 2 hour-and-a-half matches usually, so it's always a little longer than expected. But then again, reviewing it, it's almost hard to talk about because most of it's like this person came out and then this happened. But anyways, just want to give a quick shout out. We had, I think at one point we peaked before we got pulled down, like over 6,000 people in the TikTok live over the weekend. So if you were one of those people, we appreciate you for hanging out. Welcome if this is your first time listening. We're going to break down Royal Rumble. We're going to break down Raw, and I'm sure we're going to get lost along the way and probably take a couple trips down memory lane. But it should be fun. We got a crazy amount of followers too. And stay tuned as well for a potential Discord. I sent something out and got pretty good feedback on it about some people that would join. And I think that that would be a cool way for us to maybe interact with the community more, maybe get some more questions on the pod. And then, if something does get pulled down, we kind of have a backup. But Ryan, are you ready to get on the plane and take off to Saudi Arabia?
Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's get there.
Well, to start us off, we've got the Women's Royal Rumble, which the first two entrants were Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And this obviously would set the scene for the two to battle off as they have been friends for a long time. As far as my takeaway for this, I see a lot of people doing some what's the word I'm looking for here? Some revisionist history, and they didn't like the way that the men's ended, so then they tried to say that the women's was better. But man, watching it in real time, the Women's Rumble, like, there was some bright spots. I thought Sol Ruka looked good. I thought Liv Morgan did her thing as usual. Obviously, Io, Rhea, all of them are going to do. JC Jane was okay, but like for the most part, this was pretty sloppy.
Let me ask you before I get into this Women's Rumble. Did you like the stage setup that they had over there in Saudi? Did you like that, Micah? Because I thought it was the best stage setup they had in a very long time for any show, really.
Well, for some reason, I don't know why, they don't do the like stage design unless it's overseas. Because the last one I remember was the Paris show, and I don't even remember, was it just Clash in Paris? And other than that, we just get big LED screen.
I thought it looked good this time though. I know there was a lot of heat online about them making a full-on stadium in less than 4 weeks. You had a lot of fans out there that was not too happy about that, saying that maybe it was slave labor that was building that stadium, Micah. Meanwhile, they tweeted that and wrote that post on their iPhone. But I digress.
Well, I do have one comment about that real quick too, because
go ahead.
I saw a guy on TikTok make a video about how it was weird, and there was some Saudi people commenting, and they were like, "Hey, that's racist. Like, you don't know that for sure, and you're just assuming that because it's a Middle Eastern country." And I don't know if it was for sure, but it does again kind of put it into perspective where it's like, these are fans too at the end of the day. And people just hate that WWE goes over to Saudi, but I think Punk kind of brought it up too in an interview I saw recently where he was like, you know, they are fans of wrestling too. They deserve to be able to see
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I think there's a lot of Middle Eastern hate out there, and maybe it's the IWC. They don't even notice they're doing it, but you can hate a government without hating the people that show up to the wrestling events. Like,
Yeah.
at what point do we say that's a little too far? People that were upset about, oh, AJ Styles shouldn't end his career in a place like Saudi Arabia, or oh, that stadium got built in 3 weeks by slave labor. I mean, come on, guys. Let's keep it in bounds here. They're good fans out there. They were loud pretty much the whole night. Maybe they weren't allowed as loud for the women's rumble, but can you blame them? Could you name? Could you recognize any of these theme songs that these ladies came out to, Micah?
No, I mean obviously Rhea, Io,
Yeah,
Charlotte, like the ladies that have been around for a while. But I mean, there was a spot in here where it got really. I could tell you exactly where. After Naya at 4, we got Ivy Nile, Lola Vice, Candice LeRae, Jordan Grace, and it kind of picked up a little bit.
oof,
Then Becky, then Sol Ruka, then Roxanne, okay, Maxine, Natty, Liv, Zelina, Lash Legend, Raquel. Like, there's just a couple stretches where for like 3 or 4 entrants, you don't know
yeah.
their song and you don't really care about them.
The match order was off to a horrendous start when they had Charlotte and Alexa start 1 and 2. In a spot like that, you got to have them throw some hands. You can't just have them not fight and just wait on the next opponent, because that kind of throws off the whole momentum of the Rumble before it even starts. And then you have Kiana James comes out at 3. Like, who knows? Did you know Kiana James' theme? I've
No.
never seen a Kiana James match. But yeah, it was just destined to fail from the beginning. There was a point where they had a standoff with Io, Asuka, and Julia, and they played it up like it was supposed to be this big moment, and the fans just didn't react. Bro, the fans do not care about Julia. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I hate to piss on all the IWC's dream about Julia becoming the next big thing in the WWE. It's not gonna happen. It's not happening. She has shown no personality since she's got here. She's had no memorable matches since she's got here. And how can you book somebody that doesn't cut promos?
You gotta have an infectious personality like Io. That's about the only way that you're gonna get over.
Well, how about a Kiana James, pal? How about that? Have her cut the promos.
Yeah. The renowned NXT female program or promo system that works. I would also like to point out there's a lot of ladies in this that lasted a long time compared to the men's. Charlotte, like I'm just gonna read everybody who lasted over 10 minutes in this rumble. Charlotte, Alexa,
Well,
Kiana James.
well, pause on that. Pause on that. Charlotte actually lasted longer than the entire men's Royal Rumble match.
Oh my
Yeah, go
god.
ahead. Yes.
Charlotte, Alexa, Kiana James. I'll count Nia because she's at 9.5. Jordan Grace, Sol Ruka, Roxanne, Natty. Natty lasted 23 minutes. Liv Morgan, Lash Legend, Zelina, Raquel, Julia, Io, Asuka, Rhea, Bailey, JC Jane, Nikki Bella, Lyra Valkyria, and Tiffany Stratton all lasted over 10 minutes. And let's go to the men's just for reference. Oba Femi, Damian Priest, Javon Evans, Cody, Royce Keys, Austin Theory, Ilya, Logan, LA Knight, Jay, and Roman. Only people that lasted over 10 minutes in the whole thing. So
Yeah,
when you have that many people lasting that long, it's very slow and plotting.
it is.
Yeah, I mean it went an hour 7. So a lot of it was just there. I mean,
And then there was no big time surprises. Well, I say that, but then I forget that we had the big return of one Brie Bella, Micah.
I
You're a
have
big
to
fan
admit,
of Brie Bella.
she got a monster pop over
She
there.
she got the biggest pop of the night. It felt like. Why
Yeah.
was Brie Bella? Why is Brie Bella so over in Saudi Arabia?
Oh, I don't know, and this is an actual question that I don't have an answer for, and I maybe would like answered. Are they able to watch like because when they go over to Saudi, they have to wear the we call it the Power
Oh,
Ranger suit. Are they
yeah.
able to watch like NXT and stuff like
I
that?
I think so. I'm not exactly sure. I know they got a TV deal over there,
Yeah.
so they just. I don't know. That's a great question. Do we have any Saudi viewers out there? If you're a Saudi listener, send us an email. Send us
Yeah.
send us a message somewhere on
I don't know if
Scoop
the only
Slam
other
Social.
thing I could think is maybe if it's like kind of I guess kind of the same thing that we do here on the pod where it's like we can like we don't use explicit language on the pod because that's something we're putting out, whereas we talk about wrestling and we view wrestling, which does sometimes have explicit language. So maybe it's that kind of thing, like they just don't promote that, but it doesn't mean that they can't watch it. I don't know.
Good question though. I don't know.
But as far as the women's rumble goes, we can move, I guess, to the winner unless you have anything else. Was the last two was Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton, and Liv ended up picking up the win. Thank God. I don't think anyone wanted to see Tiffany in another WrestleMania title match, but she may still end up in one. But I thought this was the obvious pick if they didn't have Bianca, and I think she's a good choice to win.
Your thoughts on Lash Legend and Sol Ruka's performance in the Royal Rumble? A lot of people were saying they were the MVPs of the whole entire Rumble.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Ruka got big reactions pretty much on most of her stuff that she did. Obviously that Soul Snatcher, which, crazy name, but it always looks really good. She had a double one towards the end that was a little clunky, but I mean still the spot was nice. I thought even Lola Vice looked pretty good in there as well. And Lash Legend dominated as she should have. That was the perfect way to bring her in, especially because, they didn't really have a powerhouse like Bianca and Jade. They had Jordan Grace, but Jordan only lasted about 15 minutes. So Lash, towards the back half of it, had to be that powerhouse. And I think she did a good job.
Yeah, I'm I'm not worried about Sol Ruka as far as the main roster goes because I think she will get over. She doesn't have the promo ability, but she has that infectious personality that I'm sure the people are gonna love on the main roster. She gets a little sloppy in the ring, and she's been injured a lot, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. She'll be a big star if everything goes well for her. But I think she's probably gonna be what they hope Lyra was gonna be on the main roster. I
I
think
could
Sol
see
Ruka is
that.
gonna take that spot because it's not working with Lyra. We can just go ahead and she'll be an undercard for pretty much her whole career. Maybe I have like a natty type run. Just, having a good match, but just not in that marquee spot. I don't think she needs to be there. I don't think she can be there.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
just think I
go
think
ahead.
Lyra just doesn't have the charisma to translate like a Sol Ruka
Mm,
does. And it's not even a promo thing. It's kind of like EO or Jeff Hardy esque, where it's just like this natural charisma that just comes through the TV screen.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And like you said, Last Legend, great performance, powerhouse
hmm
throughout,
40 minutes,
and
5 eliminations.
she looked good in there. Um, yeah, the Women's Rumble was not my favorite. I thought it was one of the most meh rumbles of all time. I was
Yeah.
hoping for a surprise entrant. We didn't get that. We didn't get AJ Lee. We didn't get Bianca Belair. And the right winner won. But yeah, so far we're not off to a great start in this Royal Rumble in 2026.
Well, one last thing I do want to comment on, just because I know it's typically a pretty hot topic. I think that this Rumble as well shows the next level or the next generation of WWE. You know, they get a lot of hate about the African American representation, but there will be a lot of that on both the men and women's side because the two people we mentioned as MVPs, Sol Ruka and Lash Legend, are obviously African American. You also have Bianca, who wasn't even in this. You've got Jade, and then you also have a Kalani Jordan, who seems kind of poised to be that next, probably maybe leader of NXT, and then will eventually push through to the main roster. So it's on both sides, but you know, people don't ever mention the women's roster when it comes to that.
Mm-mm. And you look at AEW, who do they got to show for it as far as like men's main event level black talent? Like we can't just let AEW slide. You can't just bring up Swerve forever. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
Swerve, but who else? Who else you got? Bobby
I don't think
Lashley's
they
been
have
in the
one.
undercard. You got one, yeah. Bobby Lashley's been in the undercard pretty much since he got there. I've been main event bound. What you got? What? I
Kevin
can't even think
Knight?
of one. Is Kevin Knight anywhere near that level? Let's
No.
be honest. No. And who else? Ricochet? He's been treated like a joke since he got there.
Ricochet's good for the mid card, but he just ain't gonna be that next level.
Yeah. So if
So
we're pointing the blame at lack thereof black talent, we gotta look at AEW too. And by the way, happy Black History Month for all of our viewers out there, Micah.
that's right.
Yeah, it is no Black History Month package from WWE last night.
Yeah, a little interesting. I
Well,
was
hold up.
expecting.
I was too, but one day in. So maybe we'll get it next week, maybe. I don't know. I
I
don't
don't know if I would hold my breath.
I
I'm not gonna admit I was a little surprised by the Martin Luther King Day package that they ran. So
They're
that might
featuring
be,
black talent, so at least it's not just performative.
yeah,
They're just playing the package because they got to. At least they're featuring black talent.
yeah. So and we'll get to that later, obviously, because
Yeah.
my guy Oba, I'm ready to talk about him. But next up, we have the career-threatening match: AJ Styles versus Gunther. If AJ
Wow.
Styles lost, he was forced to retire from in-ring competition.
Oof. Let me start this off, Micah. I didn't realize it until after the match, but Dan Angler was the referee for this match. The guy you talking trash about the whole match, saying he was counting too slow. But Dan Angler is Rudy Charles from TNA. I don't know. Do you remember him from TNA? He was one of the
It,
the senior referees.
it does sound familiar.
Oh, he was one of the senior referees for TNA for like 11 years. And I didn't realize that was him until people brought it up in the comments. But apparently he's been with WWE for 13 years at this point.
Holy cow!
Yeah. But yeah, long time TNA referee. So the signs were there from the beginning. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a little bit of I don't want to even say copium, just
We didn't
maybe
want to believe.
hope. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't want to believe that it was really going to be over, but I thought overall it started kind of slow, which is to be expected with a Gunther match. Anytime a Gunther match is going to go over 20 minutes, you know it's going to start slow. That doesn't bother me, like it bothers some people. You know, I don't just need the kick flips to entertain me. But I thought that this was arguably, uh, I don't think I would put it over the Nakamura match, but it's pretty close. A lot of false finishes I bid on. Especially there was one at the end, I think, where AJ really powered up, hit him with the Styles Clash. I think a phenomenal forearm wasn't enough. And then they really teased the sleeper towards the end as well, where you thought maybe AJ was going to get it, kind of like the Cena one. Like it lasted too long that you were like, well, there's no way, right? And then eventually
Yeah. It
AJ did pass out and on to greener pastures.
was deafening silence in the arena when it happened too.
Oh
Reminded me of
yeah,
when Taker lost the streak at WrestleMania. Just the
yeah.
air left the arena. And you just had all the shocked faces around ringside. And I love this little touch they did, Micah. They did not play Gunther's music for a good 30 seconds. They let it build. and you could just feel like the energy in the arena, or it translated through the TV, the shock, and Gunther's music not playing added to it. I can't really just explain it. It just did.
Yeah. Well, like you said, like them delaying it,
Yeah, like,
it's
oh man, are they gonna
really,
restart this, or is somebody gonna come out? And then you just hear
yeah.
Gunther's music start.
And it almost sounded too like when I hear that, it's almost like maybe the production guys didn't expect it. Maybe they had AJ's music queued up,
Yeah,
but to get an arena, I don't really know they had how many, or I don't know how many they had on capacity here in the crowd, but I'm gonna guess at least 20,000. Uh, to get that many people to just go dead silent that's a moment right there. You know what I mean? It's sad, but
yeah,
like that's one of those it'll stick with you.
yeah. It's it's crazy. We were watching AJ's retirement tour the whole time. Didn't even realize it.
Yeah. And I kind of whenever this match started coming together, I wondered because if you thought about it, he was one of Cena's last opponents. They kind of had like I mean, it was kind of like a final match for both of them in a sense. It wasn't the final match, but a lot of tributes to guys that made their career. Uh,
Yeah,
and then he gets kind of like a pseudo tag run or a pseudo what's the word I'm looking for here? Like
like a tag title token run at the end.
yeah, yeah, like here you go because you're probably about to go on your way out. Here's you a title run just to have one last time, kind of like Cena got with the IC title, and
Yeah,
then runs into Gunther. Like him and Cena's runs are actually very similar towards this retirement tour. You can even
yeah,
kind of throw in the failed AJ Styles heel turn from like last year that nobody liked.
yeah. That's
Or not
crazy.
last year, but 2024, I think.
And Cena tapped out because he was at peace and he knew it was his final match. But AJ passed out because his career was on the line. He refused to give up. I think that's just it was booked great. I can't poke any holes in that booking decision.
Yeah. Well, I think too, that's why a lot of people, it kind of kills me. People get upset. Oh, well, Cena tapped out or whatever. He never gave up. But like at the end of the day, he knew win or
He knew it was
lose.
over. He knew
Yeah.
it was over.
So, in a sense, I thought it was poetic because Cena could finally give up. He could finally give up on being the guy
Yeah,
for WWE and having to shoulder all that load by himself. And then he just let it go. Like you said with AJ, he wasn't ready for it to be over. He said he wasn't going to let it happen, but he did ultimately.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I thought it was really good. I don't think it's better than the Nakamura match, but it's definitely one we can probably look back on at our Scoopies at the end of the year. Um, I would also like to mention Gunther masterwork with the music on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, the biggest troll out there going through to AJ's theme song. Uh, in the last 6 weeks, Micah, we got John Cena retiring, Tanahashi retiring, AJ Styles retiring, Fandango retiring. Just four titans of the industry, just hanging it all up. And who do you think is the next guy to hang it all up? Is it Brock? Brock done? Roman? You want him out of there? Nikki Bella?
No.
You want Gunther to run through her? Pause.
Well, did you see that? Oh, well. Did you see that thing
Well,
I sent you the other day that was like the Mortal Kombat ladder and it
yeah,
was yeah, the Bellas at the top? That
yeah.
cracked me up.
Still though, who's
I,
next in line? Gunther's the
I
career killer. Who's next in line?
I think a lot of people are looking too much into the Brock Oba elimination that we'll get to a little later. I think it's going to be Gunther and Brock at Mania. I think that's going to be Brock's last match.
Can I tell you who I think is going to be that Gunther's going to end their career? I think he'll be Chris Jericho.
Huh.
I think Jericho comes in because Jericho can't possibly do this much longer, right? He probably just want to come in for a little run, and put somebody over. And that seems like the most logical guy you could have Gunther beat for their career. Maybe Ray, but I think Ray got a little bit left in the tank.
I think Ray will probably go for Dom too. I think that'll be his last one.
Gunther
But
just retiring every big name from every major federation over the last 20 years.
yeah,
He got Goldberg from, big name WCW.
Cena,
AJ Styles, TNA, Cena, WWE, and now Jericho from AEW.
AEW.
Just taking all of
That would be poetic. The company killer.
them.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. Like after Royal Rumble ended, I honestly wasn't even thinking about Jericho, but now it's kind of like where does he fit in? If he is coming to WWE, which hasn't been confirmed, but it's all what we assume is going to happen.
It
You
seemed like a
know,
foregone conclusion before the event, though, that Jericho was going to be there. But I
yeah,
don't see him fitting into the road to WrestleMania now.
that's what I'm saying. So when does he even like when did he debut in '99?
It was August of '99.
Do you think he waits that long? SummerSlam,
No, come on
maybe?
now. Really? You talking about to hang it up or debut
I'm talking about
or to
to
redebut?
debut, re-debut, yeah.
You could do something big. The Raw after WrestleMania is always a big time for returns. Maybe you do it there. I think he does come back because there's definitely smoke to the fire.
Yeah. Just weird, the timing of it, I guess.
Let me ask you
But
one more thing before we move on. Do you
all right.
think this is it for AJ? Is it over? Is he done?
I don't think it is. I really and truthfully think that AJ will end up in AEW, probably by Revolution.
He got the perfect send off though.
Well, so did Edge, but
Hey,
uh,
Undertaker retired in front of no fans in that Boneyard match, so maybe this is it for AJ.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could see it because it is kind of the perfect 10 years. You go out putting a guy over. He had the match with Cena, the match with Nakamura, the title run. There's not really a whole lot more you could do, but if I'm Tony Khan, I'm at least making the call because it'll get a lot of eyeballs. And I feel like if AJ wants to do one last year, you could still throw the title on him. I feel like you have to. I would put the title on AJ Styles. So I don't know. Plus him like going to put the gloves in and then he puts them back on and does his thing or the hand signal. It kind of seemed maybe like he wasn't completely done.
I just don't see what the benefit would be for AEW to feature a guy like that at this stage of his career. Like, shouldn't you be building to the future like they always claim that they want WWE to do? It's the answer to bring in a 45-year-old AJ Styles and put the title on him.
Mm. I mean, I see your point. I wouldn't be like I would not be surprised. Well, no, I would lie if I say that. I would actually be surprised if AJ doesn't end up in AEW.
What about TNA? Is there a
Oh
possibility?
God, no! I see people say that. I would not wish that on him by any means.
It would depend on the opponent. You telling me you wouldn't want to see a Slammiversary match with AJ Styles versus a Leon Slater? You wouldn't want to see that?
I mean, maybe or maybe Santana, but I don't know. I just feel like it would kind of taint the Gunther run a little bit or the
What do you
Gunther
want to go
match.
to AEW? Wouldn't that taint the Gunther match?
Well, he could do good things in AEW. There's at least some good, stories and wrestlers over there. But with TNA, you want him feuding with Mr. Elegance.
Well, you got Nick Nemeth over there. Nick Nemeth's there. Your guy,
Okay.
actually, Nick Nemeth. We just buried. You know what? You just said you had a subtle dig right there. Because you were saying that AEW has good wrestlers, like TNA doesn't have good wrestlers.
They have better wrestlers. I've actually heard it's one of the best wrestle. I've just heard that though. I don't. What do
Who
I
told you
know?
that? Who said that?
Well, so some people online, some nice people online that would never just completely nuke anything WWE and upvote everything AEW, but
It's not just you saying it, huh?
it's not just me saying it.
Okay.
But all in all, thank you, AJ Styles. It's kind of weird. I watched an edit the other day on TikTok, which man, they always get me. But I was telling Hannah, like I've watched him pretty much my entire life. Like I remember from TNA all the way to WWE, and it's crazy to see the ride that he went on. And then I'm sure for you, he probably renewed a lot of your interest in WWE during some pretty down times in the mid 2010s.
I never really ever checked out of the product, but I do remember him having. I remember being a big fan when he finally got to make the jump in 2016, and he went on that special run on SmackDown Live, and he finally won the grandest prize in all of professional wrestling, the WWE Championship. After nobody picked him to be past the mid card when he got to WWE. Everybody was saying his ceiling was US champion or IC champion. And against all those odds, AJ Styles, the cream always rises to the top. And he got to hold the biggest prize in the industry. And he had a great run for 10 years in WWE. Didn't overstay his welcome, never was washed up. And in the end, he got to go out the way that you should go out, putting over heel. And yeah, I mean, thank you, AJ.
Well, we'll move on for the undisputed WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre
Oh God,
versus Sami Zayn.
belt to this whole match. This, bro, were you like me with like you thought Sammy was gonna make a little flurry of offense happen during this match, and he never really did?
Yeah, it was weird because I guess kind of the wrestling fans that we are. When you watch so much of it, you can kind of tell when the guy's gonna power up. And so
Yeah,
Sammy would hit like one move, like maybe say he did like a blue thunder bomb. You're like, oh, maybe, and then Drew right back on the attack, just
yeah.
killed him.
Drew hit like 3 of the Future Shock DDTs, and then Sammy
Yeah.
made a little bit of a comeback, like some boots in the corner. But that was pretty much it. It was just a straight squash match.
I would like everyone to picture the Michael Irving gif where he's got the belt just wow. Uh but I think ultimately, Drew picked up the win, but I think ultimately it's telling a story here. One, it's telling you to take Drew serious. He is that guy. He is the next level champion. Like he's not just your transition champion. This isn't just like a here, dang man, shut up, championship. Uh Number two,
Yeah.
I think this is the beginning of the story for Sammy. I think they will use this going into Mania next year, which will be in Saudi, and he will kind of be able to be like, the last time I was in Saudi fighting for this, I wasn't ready. I got pummeled. I got destroyed.
Mm.
But this time I'm making it right. I'm going back to my, my I don't want to say homeland because he's not from Saudi, but
He's
you know,
beloved over there.
yeah, in his, I guess, culture over there, he's going to
In front of his
prove that he
people.
he can be, yeah, in front of his people. He's going to prove that he can be their champion and the guy. So I
Let
think this
me
is really the first building block towards that.
push back on that real quick. Do you think the fans will accept that? Because there's been a vocal minority in the IWC out there that do not want the underdog Sami Zayn. Are the fans going to accept Sami Zayn underdog babyface run to the top of the card in 2026?
I think the best thing that they could do to make people accept it is continue to let him lose.
Just beat him. Just
I
beat him.
mean, just keep giving him the opportunity, and he can't ever, get it right. Like, that's what. Okay, so people hate that kind of thing, but Sammy is one of those forever underdogs just because of the way he looks. I know that people don't like him right now, but at one point in time, he was the biggest underdog babyface in all of wrestling with the bloodline.
Yeah.
So it can be done. I think they just have to start doing it now. Don't let him get any more mid card titles. Let him fight for them, but don't let him win. Destroy the Sammy Hogan image that people have online, and then start building him up maybe November, December around Survivor Series, and then let that carry into the Rumble or at least the Elimination Chamber and go from there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's one of those things a lot of people online, if one person says it, then everybody says it. And I think that's what people have done with Sammy.
Yeah. And you figure they'd be happy because Drew just straight up pummeled Sammy throughout that whole match. But I was seeing people saying, "Oh man, you just buried Sami Zayn by having him just
Oh
get
my
beat down."
god.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can ever please those type of fans, but I'm still on Sami Zayn's side. I don't know where you go from here as far as WrestleMania goes. He may be left out the card, and maybe like a Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is unfortunate, but you can't have everybody on the card, and he's kind of just left directionless going into Mania. Hopefully, he doesn't get in the Damian Priest universe.
Oh
You know
no.
how
A
those
fate
go.
worse than
6 month
death.
feud, 6 month feud incoming. But yeah, Drew retains the title against Sami Zayn in a very one-sided affair.
Well, it's time. The
Mm,
first the first step on the miles long journey that is the road to WrestleMania, the men's Royal Rumble. And we started hot with the ruler, my pick. I was wrong, but I was close, right? Obafemi was the first entrant in the Rumble, quickly followed by Braun Breaker, which
oof.
was promising to be this kind of epic showdown of what maybe the next 10 to 15 years of WWE is going to look like. And instead, someone, a masked man, if you guys can believe that, comes out,
What?
attacks Braun,
Masked Man.
hits hits a little curb stomp. We've never seen the masked man or a masked man hitting a curb stomp before. Throws him in. Oba puts him to pasture, and thank you, Braun Breaker. But we started hot, Ryan. A lot of people are mad. They think Braun should have maybe won the Rumble. They didn't like that he didn't even get a chance. But I thought this was pretty perfectly done. You give people the tease of Oba Femi versus Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Number two, you continue the thread of him and Seth, which, was
Mm,
pretty much left unanswered if that is Seth under the mask. And number three, let's be honest, we saw Punk versus Braun at the start of the year, which I was a fan of, but I just don't buy that as a main event of WrestleMania right now.
yeah. If you're gonna do that with Braun, as far as putting a title on him, you should have did it on that first Raw of the year and maybe have him drop it quickly. I don't think that would have hurt him, but it was a very ballsy move to have Braun Breaker get eliminated first in such quick fashion. That's probably one of the top 5 most shocking eliminations as far as like quickness of how fast they got him up out of there. I probably put Maven eliminating Taker a little bit above this, but this is up there. And
Yeah.
like you said, we didn't give away Braun and Oba. That's a money matchup down the line. And I don't think Braun is hurt by the decision. Is building up to the WrestleMania match. And yeah, Oba just went on a run after this. I think he eliminated the next 5 guys.
Yeah, he eliminated after this Solo Sikoa, Rey Mysterio, Rusev, Matt Cardona, and then eventually I think no, never
Matt
mind. That was all
Cardona.
5.
Can Gunther just go ahead and face Cardona next? And that
Oh,
be his
come
next.
on, man.
What's he there for? What's he do exactly?
Well, he makes his money and he does his job, and he does it. I try to do my job, and I do it well. Uh,
All right.
so
You like?
yeah, I thought that was an excellent way to kind of get Oba over as well because you start the first 5 guys. I mean, let's run through the time. Braun 10 seconds, Solo 4 minutes, Ray 3 minutes, Rusev 30 seconds, Matt Cardona 55 seconds. Just running through people.
Yeah, he did. Was it Priest that came out there and kind of halted things a little bit? Was that
Yeah,
what it
Priest
was?
would last for 11 minutes.
And then we had your favorite, Mr. Iguana, come out there, Micah. I know you were a big fan of that.
Well, before that, we had arguably another star-making MVP performance here. We had Javon Evans come out at number 8, and he was
Mm.
the Iron Man, beating Oba by about 2 minutes. He lasted for 40 minutes and 58 seconds.
Good showing. Good showing. I
Yeah.
don't remember him doing I don't remember him standing out too much. I mean, they featured him a couple times, but Obafemi just took a nap in the corner for 20 minutes too. I don't know what was going on there. The booking was a little questionable in this Royal Rumble after the Braun elimination.
Yeah. Well, I think some of it too was like people were picking apart the booking of this. And I think they were picking at the wrong spots because, like you said, Oba sits in the corner. He rips off 5 eliminations and then just nothing else. Like,
Yeah, just stays put.
yeah, I mean, you mean to tell me that? And they told a story with some of these guys, but you mean to tell me maybe Oba couldn't have got Ilya out of there? And we'll talk about the Brock elimination in a little bit. But like a guy
Mm.
like Dragon Lee, uh, The Miz, Ray Phoenix, guys like that probably could have went to give Oba some more eliminations.
I just
But
feel
at the
like
same time, I mean, you got to give some of these other guys eliminations as well.
but it should get more shine in the meantime. They did build up to the Brock and Oba face off, but it felt like he was just doing nothing for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't
Well,
feature him in more eliminations throughout.
also don't like that Roman got 5. I wish Oba was like the crown, like got the most eliminations in it. It wasn't like, oh, he tied Roman. I mean, it's still a good look, It's like when you tie LeBron James, but it's still, it would be a notch in the cap to have the most eliminations.
There was a couple records that were tied or broken in this match, Micah. I know you've seen Lieska, Mr. Iguana's Iguana, the 5th woman to ever enter the Royal Rumble. I don't know if you caught that, Micah.
Oh, is that so?
That is so, yeah, yeah. And the Royal Rumble match itself, I didn't know because I don't know, not up to date with Saudi Arabia time. But apparently the show went on from 10 o'clock at night there till 2 in the morning. So this is the
Holy
first
cow.
Royal Rumble to last 2 calendar days. Did you know that, Mike?
I did not. So
Yeah.
if we had started at a regular time for them, let's say 8, that would have been what, 10 o'clock here? Or no, it started at 1 here, so like 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, why couldn't they done that?
They probably would have got some more interest. Well, I say that. You said there was some kind of, unless I don't know. I feel like I remember you saying there was some kind of religious thing that halted a lot of people from being there at the start of the show.
That's what I was told, but I feel like that was kind of BS
Oh,
because I just think it was lit up poorly with the whole lights on the seats. Because there were people in the seats. It was just lit
yeah.
up very poor. They had the little lights the Intuit Dome, like you said. I don't know if you said it on the pod or maybe it was on the live stream we did, but you brought up that they have the same type of lights at the Intuit Dome, which is where the Los Angeles Clippers and the NBA, which is where they play. They have little
Yeah.
lights on the seats that kind of like change colors depending on if it's um, a particular type of music playing or if a fan is lost and they want to get back to the seat, it lights up so they know where their seat is, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that was on the live stream. So Yeah, and that's kind of crazy that they it took the Intuit Dome forever to build or to get built, and with that, they assembled all that and the lights and everything pretty quick. So I don't know,
They
just
should just
kind of
let them.
funny.
They should let them wear those little bracelet things that change colors. You ever seen that
Oh
like a live
yeah,
show? They should just made them wear that. That would be a
I
better
mean,
visual.
yeah, I'd be a
But
fan of it.
yeah, I would like that.
But yeah, we got Mr. Iguana, which I was not a fan of, but at least he fed Trick. Trick didn't last long enough to me. He got eliminated by Cody, but I mean, Trick only lasted 6 minutes in this Rumble.
At least he got eliminated by a top guy. You don't want him getting eliminated by Tozawa or Mr. Iguana, La Parka.
Yeah,
One more thing. This is probably the most luchadors that have been featured in a Rumble match since maybe 1997
that's what I was
when they
about
had
to
a
say.
partnership with Triple A.
Yeah.
How many luchadors did we have? We
Oh,
had
we
Grande Americano twice.
yep. Mr.
We had
Iguana, La
Iguana,
Parka,
Rey Mysterio.
Dragon Lee, Ray
There you go,
Phoenix.
man.
Yeah.
Was
And did you
was
already say
was
Penta?
Penta? Yeah, Penta. What was
So
that? Yeah, that's a one
shout
third of
out.
the match for luchadors.
I think that's six, right? One, 7. So 7 out of 30. Yeah. That's it,
Yeah,
I think this is probably, for years they searched for that next guy. I think this has definitely been the best crop of uh like
luchas.
luchador talent to maybe lead into the next generation
If I
to
would, oh, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, to bridge with the absence of Ray.
If I was booking, I would have had Vikingo instead of La Parka personally. But yeah,
Yeah, I
or
can agree with
maybe
that.
yeah, can't put Vikingo in there. He would have got some oohs and ahs.
Well, a little later on, we had the debut of formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs, which is now
Oh,
Royce Keys. He lasted 10 minutes, was eventually eliminated by Bronson Reed, but he did have one elimination, which was Damian Priest. I would have liked to seen him get a little more shine. At the same time, he did last longer than most in this Rumble. I just wish maybe he had done a little bit more on camera, but that was kind of a gripe I had with most of the people in this.
a lot of people mad about the name change, dude.
I don't hate it. One, I think they said it's like Royce is his son's name, maybe, and then Keys is like his grandmother's
Yeah,
uh name or
it's.
maternal.
I think it was his mom that passed, and he took the maiden name of her. I could be wrong though, but it
Yeah.
meant a lot to him.
So
And
that's what
as
I'm
names
saying,
go,
and it's not that bad.
yeah, especially if they just call him Powerhouse Key. Who cares?
Yeah. And I think they probably will keep up with that nickname, but it was kind of weird to me they even mentioned Powerhouse Hobbs, and I also felt kind of bad for him because it's very obvious that Saudi is not either they don't pay attention to AEW or they don't like AEW because he really didn't get a big reaction. But I think that will kind of clear up when they go back to the States.
I don't know if they have a. I don't know if AEW has a TV deal out there, but apparently the fans are very passionate about wrestling out there. And maybe it just didn't come across well on TV, but a lot of fans were saying that he got a big pop and they knew who he was.
Okay, well that's good then.
Yeah.
I will say I'm glad also that they brought him to the main roster
But
because he is 35 and they better
yeah,
strike while the iron's hot, in my opinion, especially with this kind of new. I keep saying new
Pop
generation,
talent.
but that's kind of been coined. So we need a new term.
Uh, man, the ruthless depression era is what
Oh, come
the
on.
IWC's calling it.
It wasn't that
Nah,
bad.
I don't know. We'll figure. We'll workshop it. The fans did react big to when Royce Keys and Cody Rhodes had a face off, so they know.
Yeah.
They know. They're not. It's not North Korea out there. There's fans follow the stuff.
Well, little later on, we can go ahead and move to this, which was a big talking point. I already talked about it a little bit on a video on the podcast, TikTok. But Ryan, I'd like to get your thoughts. Brock Lesnar was the eventual eliminator of Ilya Dragunov and Oba Femi, much to a lot of people's dislike online, which I thought was a little overblown. But Ryan, how do you feel about Brock Lesnar eliminating those two?
Well, with the Oba elimination, I didn't have a problem with it because it's Brock Lesnar. It's not like Oba got tossed out by like I feel like we always pick on this guy, but Akira Tozawa.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe you could have had a little more interaction with Brock and Oba, but as far as debuts go, you can't really do much better than what they did here with Oba. It's not over. I'm sure they'll have more interactions with Oba and Brock down the line. Didn't have a problem with it. But the Ilya outrage, I don't get that. I don't understand. When you look at a guy like Ilya Dragunov and look at a guy like Brock Lesnar, what do you think would happen in a real life interaction with those two?
Yeah.
What do you think, Micah?
Well, I mean, people don't apply real life. They say, "Oh well, it's wrestling. We all know it's fake, so what does it matter?" Which I just
But it's
think is absurd.
but it's not like he no sold everything he did. I mean, he took those chops like a champ. It ain't like he laughed it off in the corner. Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar just fight. What happened to fighting spirit? We don't apply fighting spirit to Brock Lesnar.
they just hate everything Brock does. That's what they were looking for something to hate, and Brock lasted 5 minutes. It wasn't like he was in the final five. He came in, he wrecked house. He got 3 eliminations, which was Ilya, Oba, and Ray
That
Phoenix.
the
You
way they
know,
got rid of the way they got rid of Brock Lesnar is probably that's the big problem that I had personally, because that just seemed like that was the most anticlimactic way you can get out a guy like Brock Lesnar. I feel like every time Brock Lesnar is in the Rumble, his elimination is always built up as such a big deal. And in this match, Micah, Brock got tossed out during Jey Uso's entrance, almost like it wasn't supposed to happen. It's almost
yeah,
off screen.
yeah.
You
I
really
don't
didn't
know.
build up. You really didn't build up to the any of his of a marquee match at WrestleMania, because you would think that they would do something with Gunther and Brock if that's the program, but Brock and Gunther didn't have any interactions on this show.
Yeah, the only thing I could think would be if they're building to Oba and Brock, or Oba and Brock, and I just don't know that I love that this early. Like, I think I would prefer Gunther and Brock just because we've kind of been teased with it for a while. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, but then again, it's like, dude, Brock lasted 5 minutes and he made that much headline about what he did wrong. And I'm not here to defend the guy that is Brock Lesnar, but as a performer, there's a lot worse that you could do than be eliminated by Brock Lesnar. And had he lasted 10 more minutes, and so him and Gunther could have had a face off, it would have pissed everybody off because he would have lasted too long. Oh my God, bro. Can you believe that Brock Lesnar lasted longer than Jacob Fatu? Like, you know what it would have been.
but look at the other side of the coin though, Micah, with the AEW fan base and the wrestlers that said that it was an honor to lose the Sting in his retirement tour. Like Sting didn't put over anybody. Sting would no sell stuff in the match. But we just never got that same outrage for a guy like Sting or a guy like Moxley. That correct me if I'm wrong, Micah. He had a match with Ace Austin. Was that last week or the week before? Where he completely no sold the whole entire match when Ace Austin would hit him with a strike, he would just shake it off. He would shake off his chops. And I didn't see any of the same outrage for Moxley basically cutting off the nuts of a future star in the industry in Ace Austin. I didn't see any of that. Did I miss it, Micah?
Oh, I mean, everybody said, "Oh well, look, bro, Moxley's on a tear right now." But
Yeah,
let Brock Lesnar eliminate, let Brock Lesnar eliminate three guys, and that's just the end of the world.
yeah. Oh, he no sold Ilya Dragunov. But El Klon can take a J driller and just pop right back up on his head, and that's okay. That's fine. That's so cool, Mike.
That's real Graps. You don't know
It's
nothing
real
about that.
raps. He fired up. No effect
But
on him.
again, I would like to point out just one last thing. Who, like, okay, these are the guys that I would have been okay with eliminating Oba. Roman, maybe Jacob, Randy, Gunther. I don't even want to say Cody because that would have pissed me off. So, like, that's it. That's a short list of guys that I think could legitimately eliminate Oba. And obviously, Brock is on that list. And I would put Brock over Jacob and Randy. So he's like the second best option. I don't know, man. It's fake outrage. And you know how that goes with the IWC. But ultimately, we can kind of segue to the end of the match, which I would like to point out as well. Jacob and Cody. Well, Cody was eliminated by Drew McIntyre, really, who wasn't in the match. And then Jacob was eliminated shortly after by Roman. So it's kind of building to this three-way at
Ugh.
Mania. I think, depending on the way the chamber goes. Ryan, you're not a fan?
Now, how do you get there from the chamber, though? If you did go to three-way, which I'm not a fan, but if you do go there, how do you get to the three-way?
I think that you have a scenario where I think there's two options here. I think there is a scenario where Cody is maybe poised to win. Drew runs in somehow, finds his way in, screws Cody out of it. Jacob gets the pin, and he goes on to WrestleMania. Or if you potentially want to run a fatal four-way, which I know you would be even much more in favor of, you could have Drew maybe get in, distract Jacob and Cody. Maybe Cody gets out first. He snaps, takes on Jacob, and then ends up with Randy getting the win in the Elimination Chamber. And then you can kind of segue that into a four-way, which
Oh,
ultimately would kind of piss me off if I'm, a guy like Randy or Jacob because I won this. Why is it still a triple threat? But they at least have a gripe to get out of it.
why do you need two elimination chambers? Why can't we just have one? Just have the ladies compete in one, and let's just not have the elimination chamber if we're gonna have such indecisive finishes. I don't know, Mike.
Maybe you do the faded double count with Cody and Jacob.
Ah,
Not
I'm
a
just
fan of
multi-man.
multi-man.
No, I'm multi-manned out. It's just it happens it seems like every card we got a multi-man match. Every tournament is a multi-man match.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're going to get them at Mania because they want to get everybody on the card. But ultimately, we acknowledged our tribal chief, the returning tribal chief. He said, after 2 years, I left this place. They begged me to come back. They said, Roman, save us. And that's exactly what he did. He picks up the win as number 26 with 5 eliminations, tying Oba. Lasted 15 minutes. And yeah, I thought that as soon as he won, the obvious pick was going to be CM Punk. We've already seen him and Drew for a good amount of times. I don't think anybody really wanted to see that. And then when I heard he was going to be on Raw, I pretty much heard that it was, or I assumed that it was locked up at that point. Is there any other comments you had about the Rumble, Ryan? We can rate it 1 through 10 and then kind of segue into Monday Night Raw.
No, I didn't have a problem per se with Roman winning. I picked the LA Knight win. I was a little disappointed at how LA Knight got eliminated. But Roman Reigns is the biggest draw. He only has one Rumble victory, which is very surprising because he's been final 2 or final 3 for the last 10 years, it seems like. But yeah, this is Roman's second Rumble victory. The biggest possible matchup you can do is Roman versus CM Punk. Yeah, all in all, the Rumble was maybe a little disappointing, just because we're always looking for that return. That's what makes the Rumble. I know they don't do that as much anymore, but when you don't get any surprise returns, Micah, when you don't get, return like a Mordecai. Uh, I don't know why that's the first thing I thought of. Or like a Nuncio. You can give me a Nuncio. Can we have Nuncio come out? He's there. He's in ring shape. Have him come
Just
out.
somebody to pop
Gregory,
for.
yeah. Hurricane. Can we get him? Just somebody to pop for. Give me Corey Graves. Let him come out there. He's cleared.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was one of the reasons why I can't give the Rumble a complete thumbs up. But as far as Rumble winners go, Roman, maybe the obvious answer was staring us right in the face the whole time. I don't think anybody was calling it, but yeah, get Roman and Punk at WrestleMania.
Well, I just think it's funny too, everybody dogged on Roman. Like I said, and I've already kind of put this out there on TikTok. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and find that. But
Cheap plug.
yeah, man, I mean, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of other options, I guess. Like Oba would have been cool, but in all honesty, like new guys just don't come in and win the Rumble. I think that would have been cool as like a ground shaking moment. But ultimately, it's about drumming up interest. It's about putting butts in seats. It's about making people go to shows and check out the product during the road to WrestleMania. They know that this time right here is when they have the most eyeballs on them. And who's going to do that? Who's going to bring those guys in? It's going to be Roman Reigns. And I know there is one thing that I despise on the internet. It is the fans that are like, why do you care about ratings? Why do you care about attendance? You're just a fan. Like, it doesn't matter to you. It does, though. It doesn't matter to me in terms of my pocket, but it still plays an effect into like what they do and how well it's perceived. It goes back to the territory days as well. Like, if the territories were dead with this guy on top, that followed them. But when Ric Flair came to town as NWA champion and the towns picked up, then okay, Ric Flair's a draw. Like, that's wrestling history right there. I think a lot of times, whether you talk about ratings and houses determines whether you have kind of your wrestling historian and just your casual fan. I know that sounds really like elitist, like I'm sticking my nose up, but do you kind of understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. The problem I got is with just seems like a lot of bad faith arguments out there with people always bringing up the age. Oh man, they still pushing the old guys. You got CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Let's pump the brakes. CM Punk took what, a 10-year hiatus, as we call it, Micah. Took a 10-year break from wrestling. He's fresh. He hasn't been in the main event scene for 10 plus years. And Roman Reigns, yeah, I can understand it, but Roman Reigns is also younger than Finn Balor, which people are dying for a new Finn Balor run.
Yeah.
And he's younger than LA Knight, which people want the LA Knight breakout moment. But let's not just put Roman Reigns in a retirement home. I mean, he can still go. This is not Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior in WCW. This is not that. These guys can still go. These guys still drum up interest. And I just don't understand the fake outrage for that. Micah, you got guys like Tanahashi main eventing New Japan for 15 plus years. Or you got guys like Adam Page and John Moxley and 5-6 year long stranglehold in the main event scene. And Adam Page always gets thrust back in there, and people just, oh, he's the main character of AEW. Of course he's going to be there. Well, Roman Reigns is the main character of WWE. So, of course, he's going to be in the marquee match of the biggest show you do all year.
Yeah. And I mean, two final thoughts for me. Number one being that, first off, we have always been people pushing for this youth movement. We were pushing for that last year. We've pushed for it for the year before. That's why AEW really had my interest from the jump, because they had new people that I hadn't seen before, like Ethan Page and Ricky Starks and MJF and Powerhouse Hobbs. And then all those guys, minus MJF, that I liked, jumped ship because they're not getting pushed over there, but they will get pushed here. So this next generation is coming. And it's finally here. It's finally here. Like we see these guys in the Rumble and they're getting spots on the main card. But it's just really funny because number 2, last year, y'all were pissed off whenever they gave it to Jey Uso, who, yeah, was 39, but he had never been in the main event scene, which is the argument for LA Knight, because y'all wanted 50-year-old John Cena to win it. So it's funny how the year changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what they do. It would have been complaints either way.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest matchup you can do as far as box office attractions go. CM Punk, Roman Reigns. That's what gets the casual fans interested in the product. Which at the end of the day, that's what WWE wants. They want the casual fans.
Yeah.
They know you're gonna be there every Monday. They know you're gonna tune in every PLE. They want the people that maybe buy one PLE a year or tune in to Raw at sporadic times throughout the year for the big show. They want those type of fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's their whole mantra, and it's a good business model because
Yeah,
as much as me and you complain about the product, we're still going to be there. But those
yeah.
guys that don't watch it week to week, but oh man, Roman won. Dang, I got to tune into Raw. Like that
There you
happens.
go.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
So that's who they're looking for. But
yeah.
we can move on to the main event of Monday Night Raw, which was an insane, quick back and forth between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And
Oof.
I think Ryan, we both probably felt a little stupid because how did we not see the writing on the wall here?
I I don't. It's so much history and bad blood, real life bad blood between these two, and it just came across on screen when they were in the ring doing the verbal jabs. I'm I was shocked that they got me way more interested in whatever that was last year in just one promo.
Yeah,
Because you remember we kind of got this last year. We
just a
sort of
taste.
did get this. Yeah, we got it. It was there. They were in the ring together through promo segments last year, but they had Mr. Freakin' with the anchor around both their necks, it seems like, because now when you got no Seth around, Roman and CM Punk can have the best back and forth promo exchange that I've seen on WWE television in a very long time.
Probably
It's
since
amazing
Punk
what
and
they can do
Drew.
with that. Yeah, yeah, probably. Maybe Cena and Cody last year, that first interaction that they had.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like when Ryan, do you like sushi? You eat sushi?
Oh yeah, I love sushi. Yeah.
Okay, so you know how they'll give you the plate of sushi, right? And there's always one that's just a little too close to the wasabi. And then you get a little wasabi on that piece of sushi and it just kind of taints the whole piece. That's Seth
Yeah.
Rollins. Seth Rollins is the wasabi on the side of your tray that you just, oh man, I didn't mean to get any of that. Then you move on to the good stuff with Roman and CM Punk, and you get an all-time segment on Raw with real life heat, real life hatred, because like you said, he did kind of make Roman's life miserable as a babyface because that 2010s WWE audience was super smart. And I don't mean intelligence wise, I meant they paid attention to all the dirt sheets. They went and listened to Punk's podcast and they heard him kind of bury Roman. And that's why you get, when Roman wins the Rumble and he points to the sign and they got The Rock there to help the people, and The Rock's like, oh, holy crap, they don't like this guy.
And,
That's really why.
but pause, Micah. It was pretty poetic that Roman was celebrating in Philadelphia the night after or 2 nights after his Rumble win. And the first time that the fans really rejected Roman Reigns as a top babyface was in Philadelphia for his first Rumble win. So it's crazy
Yeah.
how time works.
And then too, he said the last time he was in Philly was when he lost to Cody.
There you go. Yeah.
So
The the CM Punk Colt Cabana podcast, it shook the entire internet wrestling community to its core. I think I think it debuted. What was that? Christmas of 2015, Micah? No, 2014.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and it just CM Punk pretty much buried the entire product, and it put a lot of indirect heat on Roman Reigns as a top guy, and
And
it came
it's
to a boiling
crazy.
point. Oh yeah,
Well, I was gonna say it's crazy too. Over 10 years later, we're still talking about this.
there you go. Yeah, and
Like,
it's just real life animosity that just you could feel it.
yeah. Well, that's what
And
like the line I love most was Roman was like, "I hate you," and I was like, "Man, that like he meant like he don't mean it
yeah,
obviously, but I bought it." I was like, "Man,
I, yeah,
it's
he felt
just
it.
yeah,
You could, you maybe maybe he does feel it because this has been brewing for a long time, and CM Punk does the best, like getting the best promo work out of people, which is why I always say CM Punk's better than John Cena because they kept it in like they didn't break down the fourth wall. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you know how some of the Cena segments and Cena promos over his last 10 years, he always would break down the fourth wall and people would claim it to be such a great promo, but it really makes no sense when you actually think about it in kayfabe. Well, here they actually brought up stuff that happened on screen. What Roman said that CM Punk was playing in his face and taunting him behind his back, and he just helped out CM Punk because he wanted to give a favor to Paul Heyman. So they actually did bring up real life stuff that happened on the television.
yeah.
And they brought up the
Well,
Zebros too, Micah. I don't know if you're a big fan of the Zebros.
well, I didn't fully catch that reference. Uh, but then I saw the clip later where Punk said Zebros in the chamber or not chamber, but the War Games.
Did
I
you see
think
the
it's
movie? Zootopia.
I did not see the movie Zootopia.
Gotta check it
I
out
think
before
it's one of
WrestleMania.
those things. Yeah, well, but hey, we do a watch along on the pod.
There you go. All right.
I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like Drew and Punk, where they do have this mutual respect for each other now, but at one point in time, there really might have been this hatred. And so
Yeah.
Roman can pull from those feelings that he used to have while still having respect for the guy now and knowing that it's water under the bridge. But that's wrestling. That's wrestling when they can get you invested in a legitimate like feud that you can buy as real life. Like you feel like this affected Joe Anoa'i and Phil Brooks, while it also affects Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And
Yeah.
when you can mesh those lines together, that right there is just that's perfect, and that's what this is going to be. I really hope that Roman shows up consistently. But yeah, some disgusting conversations will be had after WrestleMania because if this if this program is like next level, top tier, best stuff that's been in WWE for the past like 5 years, some disgusting conversations are gonna have to get brought up about one, Mr. John Cena, and two, Mr. Freaking himself.
It's gonna be big time when it happens. And they're off to a great start here. I think we're gonna get Mr. Balor and CM Punk going into Chamber. So at
Mm,
least that's probably gonna take us for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But hopefully Roman will show back up one time before Chamber. That's all I need. Just show up one
yeah.
more time. One more time. And
Oh, and
then
also I
oh
was
yeah.
gonna mention one more line that I just really liked, which was, Punk called him a part timer, and he was like, "You're not here all the time. You just show up when it's casual for you." And Roman's like,
Hmm,
"Oh yeah, well you had a 10-year vacation, so
he's got a point. CM Punk hate them Shield boys, don't he?
he does this.
I
Even
can't blame him.
Moxley,
I can't blame him. I was not on the Shield bandwagon myself, but yeah, it's gonna be a great match, man. It's gonna be a great match. And it's gonna be a great program. That's what I'm looking forward to. The promos probably more than the match.
So, all in all, I thought a great start to the road to WrestleMania. Ryan, before we get out of here, out of 10 and your match of the night from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view or PLE.
I go 6.3. I say the AJ Styles Gunther match, probably my favorite match of the night, just because of how much drama it had attached to it. But maybe the men's Rumble match, probably a close second. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was just it was one of the Royal Rumbles of all times. One of the.
It wasn't great, but
There.
I have found myself excited to watch WWE ever since the start of the year. I think they have been cooking with some stuff. And like Friday night, I was like excited, that Royal Rumble was the next day. And I walked away from the pay-per-view kind of feeling like I got what I paid for in a sense. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. My match of the night was AJ versus Gunther as well, just for the emotion of it. But yeah, I mean, it's not obviously just a knock out of the park, home run, but a great start to the year and on the road to WrestleMania. But we'll get out of here. We've had our time in the sun. We've started our journey on the road to WrestleMania. But like I was saying earlier in the show, we appreciate everybody who came and hung out in the TikTok live. We hope to do more of those soon. Obviously got a little, spank on the hand for what we did, but that's only for 7 days. So we'll be back hopefully for the chamber. So make sure you're following us there, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure, you're telling your family, you're telling your friends about us. Come hang out with us next week. We'll have Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite to talk about. And as always, take care of yourself and have a good one.